Hello, Alex Sanfilippo here, and I'm going to show you how to create a completely custom template in Podcast SOP, and I'm going to make it pretty involved so you can kind of see all the features that it does here. So I'm going to share my screen for you right now, and you can kind of follow along with what I'm doing here. So I'm going to hit Create New Template instead of from the gallery. I'm going to create one from scratch, and I'm just going to call it Live Community Events via Zoom. And I can also make a color for it real quick. I want it to be, I don't know, a dark greenish color. Set the color, and I'm going to call it LZ for live Zoom. Hopefully that doesn't stand for anything else as well. You never know with abbreviations these days. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to edit the tasks because there's nothing on it yet. So it's just a blank canvas right now. And I've got a lot of tabs open here, which I think you're probably able to see. I'm going to go ahead and hit Create Task. And I'm going to go to my spreadsheet that I've been using to run this through. And what I'm going to do is just kind of copy each of the things here that I have listed. You don't necessarily need to read them or anything like that, but I'm just going to copy paste everything along the way from all this here. First off, this one, it's me actually using the calendar link to schedule them. I use Calendly for that. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to copy that URL. I'm going to paste it in here. So now instead of having to go look it up on Calendly each time, I can just have it right here in my SOP. And there's no due date or anything like that. This is my responsibility. You can see I have a team member in here, but this one's my responsibility. So I'm going to set myself as the person who is responsible to finish that. So that's task number 1. Moving right along, I'm just going to kind of go through each of these here, and I'll show you how I do this pretty quick here. So this one is actually going to be making all the event details. Now, I can actually, another spot in Calendly, I know that this link right here will take me to just that specific type of event. It'll show me all of them have been scheduled, so it's another quick link for me to be able to use in Calendly. And who's responsible for this? If I go back over here, it looks like it's me as the primary, Suzanne as the second. So I will, I will go here and select myself, and then I will select Suzanne as the secondary on that. So that task has been created, and I'm just going to keep on going through doing all these here. I'm going to let you kind of follow along. And this one is actually to create a graphic. Now, I've also can go over to, I'm done with these Calendly links. I can go over to Canva, and I know that the one that we're looking for is this one right here. So what you can do is actually go here and get shareable link. And when you do that, it's going to be kind of a nasty link here, but you can share it right here, and then you and your team member will be able to use it. So I'm going to put Suzanne as the primary, me as a secondary on that, because at the end you notice that it says to upload the file when it's completed, and Suzanne will be able to upload the file right here when she's done, so that way I can just download it and upload it where I need to in a moment. So, but she's also making an icon as well. So same type of thing, the icon is somewhere in here, it's this one right here. So I'm going to get the shareable link, and I'm going to go ahead and paste it, and no date on that one. Suzanne is the primary, Alex is the secondary on it. And this one here is just me. And this one is to actually create the event in Mighty Networks, which is where our community is at. So I know that if I go here and I hit new, there's a custom URL each time. So same thing, I can now go here and paste that. So I don't have to go manually to the community, then the events page, then hit new. I can just press it from right here. And this is my responsibility. And I put that after Susanna makes the images because I need those images for this. So these two right here, she uploads them right here, and then I download them, and then I build the actual community event using all the details we have there. Next up, Suzanne is actually going to mirror that same event because this is like a live podcast, more or less. She's going to do that in on social media, so Facebook and all those places. You can tell by my stumbling there, I'm not the guy who usually handles that. So I'm going to just link her straight to the events page where she'll be able to find that one. And I'm going to set that as Susanna and hit create. And I'm going to keep on going along here. So the next thing she's going to do is she's going to share it with Pod News. They have like a thing called Pod Events. Fun fact for you there. So if you're doing any live events or live podcast, it's a great place to be able to share it. And I'm just going to go over here to that URL. So she's able just to go ahead and add it there. She doesn't have to go find the domain or anything like that. It's just listed there. And I skipped one thing that I'm going to show you here in a second after I go back through these. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one. This is actually on social media via Buffer. So we use Buffer to schedule everything. So I'm actually just going to give her, I know that this is the root domain here. So I'm going to give her this link so she can just quickly go over there. And let me look at this again. This is only her responsibility. So I'm going to go ahead and put Susanna as who's responsible for that. And jumping back over, she needs to create a thumbnail for this on YouTube. So I'm going to go back over to Canva, and I believe this is the thumbnail one that we're using right now. And so shareable link, just like I've been doing. And I'm going to go ahead and assign it to Susanna. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anything here. This is one day before the event is live. So this one does have a date. So she needs to do it one day before. So it'll automatically send her an email. It'll give her a notification here so she knows that she's responsible for getting that done at that time. You can see it says 1 day before. And moving right along this is like the longest one of the bunch. This is something that I'm doing day of. So this is actually where I'm doing all of my planning, gathering questions, all that. This is just my own research. And I'm going to do that 0 days before. So that's going to be day of, and I'm responsible for that. No real link needed there. And the next thing is to actually now to upload the actual episode when I'm done recording to YouTube. And what I'm going to do there is I'm actually just going to go to my channel. So this will bring it straight into my channel. So here's the link, so I don't have to go looking for that. And I'm responsible for this. And then the last one here, the 12th thing, is going to be back over to Susanna. And it's where she's actually going to schedule out posting that episode in Buffer again. So I'm going to copy that URL, paste it here, and I'm going to put Susanna responsible for that. That way we can share about it again at some point in the future. So now what we just did is we built a really good template here with all these different things that we need to do, and it's quite a bit. I mentioned going back and showing you one of them. Let's imagine this Pod News one, like you can tell by going to it, that you have to sign in. There's quite a few things here. Imagine I want to actually give her instructions on that. I can quickly press this and say, here's how you use Pod News website. Click here, click there, right? Ignore my spelling, please. But now whenever she goes to the template, we make a new episode, she can click there and see that. So it's great if you have any sort of template text you're always using. You can kind of copy paste it or use it for training people. But when we actually use this template, now that we're done editing, all these links will be live. You'll be able to comment back and forth. You'll be able to upload images and everything like that. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now because I've given you a full run through here. So that is how we actually are able to build a really strong template for a podcast episode. Sure, I just showed you with the live event, and I actually do that for these live events and just about any other sort of production that I'm putting together, whether it be live or a pre-recorded thing like my podcast. But that's how you can build something that's really strong. Use all those features to your advantage, and you'll do really well with Podcast SOP. Thanks so much for watching.